Guten Tag. Welcome to Thax. Hi, I'm Thack. Welcome to Thack Ironworks. The video today is a cauldron. I'm doing a bronze cauldron. This is an exciting one for me. I've got a piece of silicone bronze, 1/4 inch thick, and it's, I think that's 8 inches. I can't remember now. I did an experiment a few months back with a piece of steel. Casey, can you grab me that piece of steel that I showed you a second ago? So this started as a piece of 6 inch, 5.5, 6 inches, 1/4 inch thick piece of steel that I then drew out the sides, just thinned that out a little bit, and then hot dished it into my hollow form here, and I was able to come up with this little conical helmet, this tiny little miniature helmet. So realizing that at 6 inches, expanding it out another 2 inches, I'm hoping that I can get a cauldron of decent size. This is all an experiment for me to be able to start making bronze helmets in one piece. So this is kind of my wading into that experiment. So why don't I cut the chit chat and we'll get right into it. Okay, so that is pass number one. I basically just went around the perimeter, went from 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch. Not sure if you're going to be able to see that. Just thinned out that edge somewhat. Now what I can do is go to my form, a hollow, basically just a piece of pipe with a round bar welded on there, everything nice and smooth, and I'm going to start sinking that piece into the center. As it sinks in there, as it creates that shape, it thins out the walls and this piece will start growing. What we want to do is keep our edge basically at this perimeter so that you get the depth. Not articulating that right, but anyway, that is important. It's mid-morning. It's also very hot and humid today, so this is going to be a little bit painful for me. Let's get right into it. Oh, also should mention with bronze, you have a very small window of opportunity for getting this stuff hot enough, but if you get too hot, it's just going to melt. Whereas with something like steel, you can get up to a yellow heat, you see a couple sparks, you can still pull it out, you're still fine. With this stuff, you get up into a bright orange, and then all of a sudden, boom, it just melts, it's gone. So you've got to be very vigilant with your fire as you're working with this stuff. All right, so 15 minutes into the process and lots is happening. Things are going quite well. I'm cautiously optimistic, but also a little terrified that things could go sideways at any point in time. So that's what we've achieved so far. Now I got to start bringing it out, bring the sides out, and let's just see where that goes. It's just thinning out. This is a long, laborious process. Okay, I'm going to call that the end of pass number 3. The first one kind of took some depth down. It was more conical. This last pass, what I've done is worked into the edges there and try to bulge that out. And you can see kind of the result there. This is, I don't know, looking kind of like Gilligan's hat right now. I'm approaching World War I British helmet is kind of where we're going to be at there. So made really good progress now, but now things are going to become increasingly awkward as it gets deeper in there. It's a little harder to get each blow where you want it. So I think things are going to slow down as far as my progress, but so far so good. Okay, got back from lunch. Prior to lunch, I did my, I think it was 4th pass. I think that's what we're talking. That's the number. So it's really starting to take shape here. Still quite a bit of wall thickness there. I'm going to thin that out more. I'm just really kind of just experimenting. I'm not sure how thin I'm going to make this and then how big it actually gets. Let's just see how things go. So far, so good. Okay, pass 5 is now complete, and it is taking a decidedly cauldron-like shape, I think. Still a long way to go, and with each pass it's getting increasingly hard, camera down, to get access in there. I'm finding it increasingly hard to get where I need to go, so I have to slow the whole process down to about half speed, and I think it's going to continue on like this. For me to get my access, it's just not quite as easy. I have to be very precise with that, but things are going well. I will continue on, but I don't think you guys need to see the next couple passes. It's not going to be that exciting, so we will pick up a little bit later when I've got more closer to the finished shape. So see you later. Time has elapsed and I have made progress, and I'm very pleased with the progress that I've made. 5-6 hours somewhere, I think maybe about 6 hours sounds about right, is what I've spent on this so far. Got to the point where I realized tooling wise I needed something a little bit different, so I spent a little bit of time and I made this scandalously shaped hammer, which allows me to get in, reach in, and get inside where I need to go. And in doing that, I then also decided I needed to make another stake that could grab this in the appropriate manner, and using that I was able to do a little bit of an experiment. I can just show you that I can bring out the side here. So I want to continue on doing that. Also, if I can trust my own marking down of passes, we're at like a dozen passes in at this point, and it's really, I could leave it at this point. It's probably 1/8 of an inch thick. It's very thick, and the shape and size are kind of cool, but of course I want to do more to it. This, as I stated before, is an experiment to do a helmet out of one piece like this, and I need to make something that is bigger, that will fit onto my head, and thinner to be more practical helmet size. So I've got the material here. I just want to push this a little bit farther and just play with the shape. So the next couple hours are just going to be seeing how far I can push this and just kind of seeing where it goes. I don't have a specific shape that I'm really trying to go for. I'm just trying to see, as I start shaping it out, what presents itself. I'm going for that kind of plasticky cauldron-y effect, but how it actually plays out, don't know yet. Let's go. Okay, that was, we'll call that now pass 14, which I'm getting a little fuzzy on what the passes are because I'm doing high and low and bottom, and so like, is that all one pass or is that 3 passes? I don't know. I'm counting it as one. In any event, I've gotten to the point now where I've got some good shape here, but I've got my symmetry, I've kind of fallen off track here, I think. So what I want to do is heat the whole thing up, anneal it, and then do some cold working to try to see if I can just get some of the little bulges out, and then see, once I've got it more symmetrical, see where I am shape-wise and also feel for thickness-wise. So let's try that. Well, holds water. Remember, non-ferrous metals or copper-based metals, when you heat them up and quench them, that actually anneals it. It softens it. It's the opposite of steel. So it's always very counterintuitive for people who are used to steel. Different reaction. So now this is nice and soft, and I'm going to just play with the symmetry a little bit. Should mention, probably painfully obvious, I've switched from working hot into the hollow form to my shot bag and working cold now. So this I can do much more specific shaping and try to level things out, even out all my anomalies there. And I believe now that this is sinking in there quite well, I'll probably work cold from here on in. Okay, I've decided to call it. I've refined it as much as I would like to refine it. I want the thing to have an obviously handmade appearance. I think it's looking pretty good, more or less symmetrical, but it's still got some obvious anomalies and dings and stuff like that. At this point, I need to admit that there was a little tiny hole, and now I can't find it. But I noticed it when I was annealing, and I could see the light shining through. So somewhere around here, there it is. I don't know, Eric, if you can get home in on that. That was a crushing blow to me when I saw that. And near as I can tell, it's still fairly thick there. That must have been where the steel got pinched or something like that, or a hammer. I don't know how something got in there that left a deeper pinch that burst through there, but there still feels like there's some thickness here, so it shouldn't I don't think it's like it's tinfoil thin here or anything like that, but for some reason that broke through, and I'm going to have to weld that. So that's very disappointing. Other than that, everything just went swimmingly, and I'm quite pleased with the result. I'm pleased with my shape, which has kind of evolved as I went, and I think I've got a nice kind of shallow bottom cauldron that should make a nice stew. So let's just clean it up just for show. I'm going to wet this. Just get some water on there. I find that works better when I do the steel wool. If you watch my other videos, you'll always see when I do this. Usually I would gun blue this to get the highlights and darken the low areas, but in this case I'm just going to basically buff off any scale and soot here and just get it to bronze. And there it is. So that is my cauldron. I am quite pleased with the whole thing. I think that was a very fun experiment. It's hammered to shape. There's no polishing or grinding or anything on that other than a little bit of elbow grease with the steel wool. I will be scrubbing the inside, scouring that quite clean. I won't bore you with watching that. I don't think that's visually very exciting. But there's been no grinding, no changing of shape. Basically, I started with that disc and it's just been hammered to this shape. And to me, that is something that I get off on. I like that whole organic thing. This also, of course, I've got a hidden agenda here in that this was an experiment in doing a one-piece bronze helmet, which will be one of my upcoming videos. And realized this process works quite well for that. Other than I had that little breakthrough, and I can see I'm looking at you through that right now. That is disappointing, but a lesson learned there. I can repair that, but that's something I'm gonna have to watch for and be ever vigilant on sharpness of tools and things like that. When you're doing this much stretching hot, you've got to be quite careful about that. So anyway, that is the cauldron. I'm not done though. We're going to end this video now, but I want you to come back very soon to the next video. I would have to do the fittings on here, a handle and some rings here. And it was pointed out to me, somebody just dropped by, friends of mine, and she said that this looked adorable, which really pissed me off. So I need to make it a little bit more sinister and spook it up a bit. So skulls. I'm thinking skulls here to hold a ring. So come back for the next video and you'll see me making skulls, and I think I'll do those out of copper in repousse. So stay tuned. Thanks for now. This has been a fun one. I really enjoyed this. I will see you next time. Comments below. Love to hear your feedback on this one. And Patreon and all that stuff. You know, we'll see you next time. See ya!